Have you received a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease? Are you feeling lost on how to exercise with this diagnosis? In this video, we will discuss the causes of symptoms in Parkinson's disease, the benefits of early exercise, and recommendations for exercises based on specific principles. So why is movement affected in Parkinson's disease? There is a part of your brain which helps to control movement called the substantia nigra. In people with Parkinson's, there is degeneration of nerve cells in the substantia nigra, and these nerve cells become damaged and stop producing an important chemical called dopamine. Dopamine works in balance with other chemicals to allow messages to be sent to the parts of the brain that coordinate movement. It is particularly important in sending the signal to start or change a movement. When you don't have enough dopamine, the signals become weaker and slower to reach the body, resulting in changes in movement like tremors, stiffness, and slow speed. It's also why people with Parkinson's often struggle with initiation of movement or difficulties with changing a movement. So why is exercise important in Parkinson's? So exercise has been shown to delay the onset and progression of physical symptoms in Parkinson's if introduced early on. Moderate to high intensity exercise can make changes that improve brain health and protect the brain, such as slowing down the damage to the dopamine producing cells. There was a project started in 2009 called the Parkinson's Outcomes Project, which is the largest clinical study by the Parkinson's Foundation in Parkinson's, with over 13,000 people enrolled. And it showed that people who started exercising earlier and a minimum of 2.5 hours a week experienced a slower decline in their quality of life compared to those who started later. Establishing early exercise habits is essential in managing the disease longer term. So why else is exercise good for you? So we're talking about any activity that increases your heart rate and leaves you feeling short of breath. Exercise can promote a number of the following things. It can help to improve your muscle strength or cardiovascular fitness. So you may be able to do a lot more before feeling short of breath, including walking further distances or doing more of your daily tasks before needing a rest. It can also reduce your chance of developing a secondary medical condition, such as diabetes or osteoporosis, and helps improve the ability to carry out daily tasks. Exercise can promote improved mood, balance, flexibility, and improved quality of life. You're also less likely to develop cognitive decline. It can also promote a quicker walking speed and improved walking pattern. This is a particularly important point in Parkinson's, as we've just talked about what happens to movement and the fact that signals from your brain that tell your body to move get slower. This often happens in walking. Walking speed can become slow and small, and this is often seen as a shuffling gait where people take small steps rather than big strides. Exercise has been shown to improve walking speed and walking pattern in people with Parkinson's. So what are the principles of exercise? Your type of exercise with people with Parkinson's will try and incorporate as many of these 6 principles as possible. So let's explore them a little bit further. Principle 1 is big. As I've said, Parkinson's can make your movement smaller, therefore you will tend to only move your joints through small ranges of movement, which can worsen over time. It's important to make your movements as big as possible, so your joints are moved in their full range of movement each day, and this can help to reduce stiffness. Principle 2 is whole body. Dopamine is used to send signals from the brain to the whole body, and that means activity should target the whole body. Parkinson's affects the signals from your brain to your whole body, so you want to incorporate as many aspects of your body as possible. You can also experience stiffness in your spine, so doing things like twisting and rotating, which are key whole body movements, can help to navigate that symptom. Principle 3 is effortful. So it's important that you work at moderate to vigorous intensity to make the exercise worthwhile. You can use a scale called the Borg rating of perceived exertion, and this is a way of measuring physical activity intensity levels, and you can monitor your overall feeling of how breathless you are and the tiredness you are experiencing in your muscles. You will want to work at moderate to vigorous intensity. Moderate intensity rates at 4 to 6 out of 10 on the scale, which is you're breathing heavily, but you can have a conversation. Vigorous intensity can rate at 7 to 8 out of 10, and this means that you're short of breath, you can speak, but only about 1 sentence at a time. The 4th principle is powerful. If movements are performed with increased power, then there will be an associated increased intention and focus of the movement. This increased power jolts the brain into action and increases excitation of brain cells and sends stronger signals out to the muscles to work at the same time, building those pathways in the brain. Principle 5 is mentally challenging. Many tasks in our day-to-day life require us to do 2 things at the same time. This is called dual tasking, and this can become really challenging for people with Parkinson's. Our brains develop and adapt when continually learning and overcoming new challenges. Adding complexity and cognitive challenges to exercises can improve the speed and processing in your brain and help with managing day-to-day life. The last principle is having fun. To benefit from changing your activity levels, you need to be doing these principles longer term. This needs to be a lifestyle change and a habit that you make for a lifetime. If you choose activities that are fun and that you enjoy, of course you're going to be much more likely to stick at them. And unfortunately, you will only reap the benefits of exercise for as long as you engage in it. So how often should you exercise? There is no exercise prescription that is right for every single person with Parkinson's. The type of exercise you do will simply depend on your symptoms and the type of challenges that you face each day. For sedentary people, just getting up and moving is beneficial, but more active people can build up to regular, vigorous activity. You can also tailor your exercises to symptoms you are experiencing. For example, you can complete more stretching exercises if you feel more stiff. The NHS and World Health Organization recommendations are that you complete 150 minutes aerobic exercise per week at moderate intensity or 75 minutes at vigorous intensity. They also recommend strength-based and balance exercises 2 to 3 days per week. It's important to note that if you have any other health conditions that may impact on your ability or safety to exercise, please see a doctor or a physio first before starting up an exercise program. So what are other ways that you can be more active? There are so many different ways that you can be more active or increase your activity levels, but the key is finding hobbies that you find fun. The obvious ones include gym classes or doing your own seated or standing workouts, doing racket sports or dance or swimming and aqua exercise. Some people also take up Nordic walking or Tai Chi, as these have been shown to be great for people with Parkinson's, as they both incorporate a lot of the principles discussed above, especially keeping movements big. It really doesn't matter what type of exercise you do, as long as you try and incorporate as many of the principles discussed as possible. The key is to think of exercise as a form of medication, so try not to miss a dose. So hopefully you now have a better understanding of why exercise is so important for people suffering with Parkinson's and the potential benefits that you can reap from exercise. I hope you found the information helpful, and we'll see you next time.